Howdy team. Today we're going to work on Domain 3 of the Excel 2016 preparation for the MOS exam. So let's get started. Domain 3 is about creating and managing tables. And we're going to focus first on creating an Excel table from a cell range. So I'm going to open Excel. And you can see we already have two tables with a budget. One way to make a table is to highlight the data you want. Do notice that I have column headings here for A, B, C, D, and E. I will want to tell my table I have that. And then I have balances. So we're going to go to the Insert tab. And on Insert, we're going to click Table. It asks me right away, do you want your data from A2, so right up here, A2 descriptions, all the way down to E19? And you do want to notice you wouldn't have grabbed this other table because that's different data. It could be its own table down below. Now, here's the checkbox I was talking about. If I say my table has headers, description, adjusted budget, spent in column C, encumbered in column D, and remaining in column E are all going to be labeled as headers. And we do want that box checked. So we say OK, and we now have an interactive table. Notice we also have a new table tools and design. This enables us to do a lot with our table. We can also come over here to table styles and change table styles. But for right now, I want to show you the power of a table. Once you have an interactive table in Excel, notice you immediately have a pull-down menu. You can sort smallest to largest. You can sort largest to smallest. You can sort by color. You can also filter some of these values in or out of your data. It's amazing how quick you can come up with things. Now, back on Table Tools Design. If you've clicked off the table, that extra tab goes away. So if we want our Table Tools Design to come back up, we click anywhere in the table and our Table Tool Designs tab appears. Another thing that a table can provide you is a total row. A total row enables you to immediately have the ability to average, count, find a maximum value, a minimum value, a sum, standard deviation, and more functions right here with a click of a button for a whole column. That's pretty strong. Again, we've clicked in our table, so our Table Tools Design tab appears. Over here on the left is our table's name. We may want to make this more meaningful. This could be our budget table, but you might want to type in there and make your table more meaningful. It says the syntax in this name isn't correct. Let's see what I did. Budget. Okay, so we just click off and we click back on, and our table's name is budget. We can remove duplicates, which we'll be asked to do in a later activity. If your entire row of data has another entire row of data exactly like it, removing duplicates will identify that and remove one of them. Insert a slicer we'll get to later, but I want you to come on over here to table style options. We added our total row by clicking this button. We can toggle on and off with that total row and that abilities. Banded rows gives us the color choices, but notice now if I unclick banded rows, the rows are alternately colored. The purpose of banded rows is just to easier identify and get to the data you wish to. Header row, if you don't need those names and those titles for those columns, you can unclick those and those titles of those rows disappear. However, that data is not gone. You can still come back, check the header rows, and have those capabilities of filtering and sorting on your column. So just so you know, that didn't go away. First column, last column, you can also do banded columns. So see, I could undo my banded rows and then have alternate colored columns just for easier identification. Very often people like banded rows because your rows identify an entire field of information. All right, and your filter button. Over here in table styles, you might be asked on the certification exam to change table styles. Notice your first group is light colors, your second group is medium colors, and your third group is dark colors. Pay attention to that. It'll make you be able to sort through the data way quicker and find the correct color scheme you need. If you're asked in the exam to find the green table style medium 14, again, start with medium first and then find your medium 14, and hovering your mouse will give you that name and that theme. And now notice we still have our banded rows in our theme. So that's pretty much going over the design ribbon, which again appears and disappears depending if you're clicked on the table or not. If we're clicked off, there's no design tab. If we're clicked on an interactive table, a table tool design tab appears. Domain 312 is convert a table to a cell range. Now we already have our interactive table here from cell A2 all the way down to cell E19, and we added the total for E20. Now, if we highlight this group of our interactive table, we can come back here to the Design tab, to the Tools panel, and go Convert to Range. This keeps our data, but we no longer will have that interactive table. It kept our color formatting as well. But notice we don't have those pull-down menus and those abilities to do those automatic formulas in total. So that is converting to a range. Again, keeps your data, just doesn't give you the quick abilities with filtering and sorting as well as built-in formulas. In domain 313, we're asked to add or remove table rows and columns. And if you remember in our last second here, we converted our table to a range. So we need to go back to inserting a table. So we go to insert, we highlighted our data, and we go table, and now we have the interactive table. Yes, we have headers, and yes, that's our data, and we say okay, and now everything's back so we can sort and filter. The cool thing about interactive tables, say we want to figure out our leftovers. Okay. What money do we have leftovers? I'm touching the interactive table, and because I was touching it, all I have to do is hit enter and the table is added to. Same thing below. I can go beneath with a row, and because I'm touching that interactive table, it will automatically add another interactive column or row to my table. Now, it did not pull on the theme, and of course we can rematch our theme and change our colors back. But just so you know, it will keep building. You can also say I want to add a column between column D and C. I can click on D. I can right click and click insert just like we did before. Column D, it now has a new blank information right here. And column E's data was respected and just moved over. I'm going to undo that. And let's add a row. Let's go down to row 10, and we want to add a row right above row 10. So left click to identify row 10. We right click and we say insert. And again, it gives us a new row 10 with no data in it. And again, I'm going to undo that. Now, this leftover data looks a little strange. So to get rid of a column that I don't need in my data, I can click to identify it, left click. I can right click and then hit delete. And it just removes the column exactly like it did in Excel. We'll do the same thing with the row. To insert or delete, we left click to identify the row, we right click, and we hit delete. And that row and column are gone. Thanks for working in Domain 3.1, creating and managing tables. I know you're going to do a great job. Do your best.